In this case study, we are going to be deploying a Ghost blog. Ghost is an open source blogging platform created with Node.js. Deploying applications built by other developers can help sharpen your server management skills. To get started, make sure you check the prerequisites for any application that you want to install to make sure that your server meets the requirements. Something that might be new to you is systemd, and this is a software that comes installed in Ubuntu 18 and other Linux distributions. With systemd, we can create services and run them as background processes. So our Ghost installation in this case is going to use systemd as a process manager in the place of PM2. Let's follow the instructions to set up the application. First, we need a deployment user. I already have one called Node, and I am SSH'd into my server using that user. Next, we need to update packages. Then we need to upgrade the packages. Next, we want to make sure we have Nginx installed. I already have that installed. And we want to make sure that we allow Nginx full. And this is an alias which is going to expose port 80 and port 443 on our server. So you want to verify that by running sudo ufw status. My server firewall is active and Nginx full is allowed from anywhere. This makes sure that we can receive traffic into port 80 and port 443, which is for HTTP and HTTPS respectively. Next, we want to make sure that we have Mysql installed. I already have that installed. Now I need to make sure that I have a MySQL user and database for the application. So I'll log into the MySQL shell by running sudo mysql. Then I'll create a database called Ghost. Next, I'll create a user called Ghost, identified by the Ghost password, and finally I would grant this user all the privileges on the Ghost database. Now I'll flush privileges so they reflect immediately. Then I'll exit. So we have a Ghost user and database for our installation. Next, we want to make sure we have Node.js installed, and I already have that installed. Next, we want to install the Ghost CLI globally. I'll run the global npm install. Once that's installed, we need to create a directory where the Ghost installation is going to be saved. This is going to be saved in the var www ghost folder. Next, we need to make sure our current user owns the folder we just created. So we can do that by changing the owner of the folder to node. And I'm doing this because the name of my deployment user is node. And the folder we want to change ownership for is var www/ghost. Next, let's make sure that the user has the correct read and write permissions over this folder. So I'm going to change this. And finally, I'm going to change directory into that folder. All we need to do is run ghost install to get the installation started. Once done, we have a prompt asking us for the blog URL. This is going to be http://ghost.deploynode.js.com, and this should match the domain to which you're going to deploy the application. Next, we need to provide our database credentials. Localhost is the host name, the username is Ghost, the password is Ghost, the database is Ghost. Next, we have a prompt asking if we want to set up Nginx. Select yes, and Ghost is going to automatically generate an Nginx config. Do you want to set up SSL? We've not covered SSL yet, so select no in this case. Do you wish to set up systemd? In this case, I'm going to select yes, but if you do not want to use systemd, if you want to use PM2, then you can select no, and you're going to start the application manually using PM2, just like we've done. This creates a system service for the application, which we'll look at in a second. Do you want to start Ghost? Select yes, and Ghost is going to start the application. Okay, that was successful. Let's look at some of the files that Ghost created. First, Ghost created an Nginx file at this location. So let's cut the contents of that file. You can see that it's a standard Nginx configuration listening on port 80, defining the server name which matches the blog URL that we provided before. It proxies all incoming requests to an application running on port 2368. Now let's look at the service that Ghost created with systemd. I'll copy the path and I'll cut the contents. This is basically a file that defines a system service. We have the description of the application, a working directory, the environment variables to be set before the application is run, the executable that starts the application, and restart always, so that in case the Node.js process goes down, it's automatically restarted by systemd. This means that the only thing left for us to do is make sure that our domain name servers point to this server, and then we can see our application live. I'll copy the IP address of my server and come to my A record dashboard, place in my email, the A record I need, which is Ghost, and finally the IP address. Okay, so let's try visiting ghost.deploying.nodejs.com. Great, looks like everything works correctly. Thank you for watching and see you in the next lesson.